Shaya, how are you?
I am great. How are you, man?
Yeah, good. Enjoying the nice weather.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty humid, Costa del London,
Yeah,
and you realize how little this country's built for like dealing with the heat. But
I know.
I'm
It's,
I'm
it's
so grateful. Got three-quarter lamps on. It's all right.
yeah, out in the garden. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
weird like extreme heat or if extreme snow, the country just stops for 2 or 3
yeah,
days.
yeah. And extreme, it could be like that's just like 25 degrees or like 10 degrees.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, good. But doing well, man. Thanks for having me on.
Good. It's great to have you, man. It's really strange. There are certain people that I go out and like hunt down, like
Hmm.
famous, well-known guitar players like Steve Vai, Joe Satriani. I ping
Hmm.
them messages, and I never get anything back. But I've always found that the people that I have the most interesting conversations with are the people that Instagram just shows me a reel. And then one of yours
Right.
popped up, and it was surrounding like mental health and like not it was like not worrying too much about where you are currently in your career, and
Hmm.
you just got to keep working, you just got to keep doing good stuff. If you keep putting
Yeah.
it out there, you're on the ladder, or you're walking the path, you're on the road. And I just thought that was just I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna pop this guy a message and see if he wants to come on."
Oh, nice one,
So
man. Yeah. I
I
mean,
think it's and then I see, like, "Oh, fuck, man, he plays for Gorillaz, he does this stuff." I was like, "Sweet."
nice. Well, I'm glad that it kind of went that way around because it's like actually
Mm.
the message connected before anything
Yes.
else that I'm known for, and I think that's also kind of where I'm at in my career and in my life. Anyways, it's like I want, it's great, obviously working with Damon, working with
Mm.
Gorillaz, and other big acts that I get to play with ever so often, every so often. But, I feel like it really struck me in the past sort of couple of years, this yearning to like not just release my own music, which I also do, which is great, but also like, why am I doing that? Why do I have a platform? And that's not to say that it's like everybody needs to use social media for a noble cause, because
Mm.
like that's not reality.
Yeah.
It's like I've really things that I've gone through and just where my life is headed is just like I need to help other musicians feel like it's all right. I need to, and also I'm a recovering, I'm an addict as well. So it's like
Yeah.
I need to let people know that you can also get through those things, and release music later and have a thriving career after the age of bloody 25. And even not even just musicians, creative people, and just
Yeah.
people actually in general. My message is full of all sorts of people from every age and every group possible,
Yeah.
talking about how much encouragement it's like is needed. It's like the messages you tend to hear are either how shit things are
Mm.
or how amazing you are or should be. And
Yeah.
it's just like actually just a bit of encouragement actually goes way further than I think a lot of these other things.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm a few years older than you. I'm 44,
Hmm.
and I spent the last these into my 30s were just a fucking blur. It was just a mess. It was
Yeah.
just drink and drugs, and I wasn't focused. I
Hmm.
was taking any gig that I can, and then sort of I got sober sort of around will be 10 years in November.
Congrats.
And that's kind of where I did a couple of years of like just focus on just sorting my fucking life out, making sure my wife doesn't leave,
Yeah.
trying to build those relationships back with my kids that I'd almost ruined.
Mm.
And then and then COVID hit,
Jeez.
and it was kind of during that COVID. It's like, right, well, what am I going to do? Like, I'm kind of a few years sober. I
Hmm.
feel like I got my shit together.
Hmm.
We've got our house. We've the kids are sort of starting to grow up. I'm sort of getting all the threads of my life back again. It's like what, and that's kind of where I sort of really started to focus on. Okay, now I'm gonna have to set this up. So I set up a little a function band. Um, I put together like a tribute band that I always wanted to do, which lasted a couple of years.
Nice.
And then I started doing theatre work, and I'm like, well, if I have a goal of like the West End,
Hmm.
theatre tours, that kind of stuff, and then it all gradually starts coming, and it's just that process of. I saw a really great Jordan Peterson interview, and he said, just pick a goal. It doesn't matter how far away it is, and then
Yeah.
you've got something to align yourself to, and then you just work towards it.
I mean, we used to say something in rehab, which was aim at nothing, you hit it
Mm,
every time. And it's
exactly. Yeah.
like it's such a great. thing. It's like moving forward in any at any pace is
Mm.
still it's still motion, and it's
Yeah.
like I used to not really believe so much in like goal setting, and I think actually sometimes the way it's spoken about is uh misdirecting or
Mm.
isn't very clear. It's just like it's not like, oh, I've got this my 5 year goal and I've got
Yeah.
these rigid things that I have to do to get there. It's like actually, because how often do people actually think about what they actually want to do?
Yeah.
Just like, I want to be a musician. It's like, all right, what kind of musician do you want to be? Oh, I want to be a session musician. It's like, all right, what kind of session musician do you want to be? Do you want to do stuff in studio? Do you want to do stuff live? Do you want to do stuff remotely? Do you want to do stuff in the West End? Do you, like, actually, we treat, I think oftentimes musicians treat what we do as this kind of just big nebulous
Mm.
sort of non-specific thing where it's like actually if you want to hit any targets when you're younger maybe you could just get by with just sort of being shit hot and
Yeah.
but you have like you say a family responsibilities bills etc. It's like I need to be a little bit more systematic about how I go about this, and
Yeah.
actually there are steps to get to kind of anywhere you point
Yeah.
if you give yourself something to aim at and then break that, reverse engineer that. Like I'm currently on this sort of music career coaching course called Secret Sessions, which is really, really cool, run by a lovely woman called Harriet. And basically it's about reverse engineering the life that you want.
Mm.
It's like you can achieve that, but it's like it'll probably take a bit longer than you think
Yeah.
and actually take smaller steps than you
Mm.
that the sort of steps that you probably start thinking of when you think about achieving something are so big that it stops you from
Yeah.
even having a go. But it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
actually no, to become a West End session player, it's like what's the first step? Watch YouTube videos of other guys who do it, talk
Mm.
about it.
Yeah.
That's a small enough step that you can do today.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like these sorts of things to break it down.
Mm. Yeah. It's like it like tiny small steps towards the direction. Over time, they just compound on each other.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I had a student that turned up for a lesson, like first lesson. The kid sucked, just dreadful. Like could no sense of time.
Mm.
No, doesn't really listen to music. And I was like, well, what the fuck are you doing here? But after like a couple of weeks, like he was coming back, and I was like, how much practice are you doing? He's like, oh yeah, I'm sort of playing every day. I was like, how much? He's like 5-10 minutes. I'm like, all right, okay, let's see how you're getting on.
Hmm.
Over the couple of weeks, like nothing was like we weren't making any progress, and I'm like, oh, come on, dude.
Yeah.
And something happened. Like he came back after like the Easter holidays. So I went, how are you getting on with guitar? He went, oh yeah, really good. I had a go at Stairway to Heaven. And I went, okay, all right. Fucking kids started playing Stairway to Heaven. Like
Wow.
it was rough. I'm like,
But it
but
was
it was
there.
there. I could hear it, and I was like, wait, whoa, wait a minute.
Wow.
And I said, how long are you playing? He went, oh well, we didn't really do much. I think the weather was shit. So I was just playing for like hours a day. I'm like,
Hmm.
fucking
Hmm.
great. I was like,
Hmm.
you've crossed the threshold. I went, right, let's just look at that song we were doing. And like, yeah, yeah, can do it. I went, great. And
Hmm.
after about 6 weeks, 7 weeks, I was like, I don't need to teach you songs anymore.
Yeah.
You're learning songs on your own. Like he was cute. He was coming back in. Like here's the Pretender. Here's Back in Black. I'm like, you don't need to show me this shit anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
We're going to work on how to play guitar. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what we've been doing over the last year. And it's just, and I emailed his mum. I said, look, he's doing like tiny little steps, but over 6 months, he's exploded. It's amazing.
That's I mean, great. Sounds like you're doing your job really well. And how often we miss I don't know, people just think that it takes a lot longer to do something that actually doesn't take super long. It just takes consistent small
Mm,
bits.
mm.
Um, like I believe in 18 months, maybe 18 months to 2 years, you can get really good at kind of anything if you do a little bit all the time. Um, like that's enough progress to like I think to be proud of yourself for anything. And I've really tried to take that to heart and like I've been very, very consistent with content, for example,
Yeah.
in the past 6 months, 7 months. And I kind of have always been with social media. It's always appealed to me.
Mm.
And I've only just accepted that. Like I think as musicians, we tend to think that we should hate it.
Yeah.
I think there's a weird guilt I've always carried. I only just realized this recently. I've always had this guilt of like not only just liking it, but feeling like I can be good at it. And
Yeah.
I feel like it, real musicians like sort of hate that shit unless you're like a unless
Yeah.
you're a YouTuber.
Yeah.
That's like the kind of I don't know, that's like the clean profession when it comes to making content. It's like
Yeah.
being a YouTube musician is like the proper like Cambridge and Oxford of it. Whereas like, doing reels and TikToks is like the, Croydon College of doing this. But it's like, no, like,
I don't agree with that.
yeah, like
I
I've
Go on.
gone,
You finish, and then I'll tell you what my thoughts on it.
yeah, I'll just like because I think um it's become such a transformative thing in my life, actually taking it seriously, similarly asking myself the questions like, what do I want from this? How can I point this in a direction that actually doesn't make me cringe, kind of helps me out and helps other people out? And it's just doing a little bit of that every day has just like I've gained more followers in the past sort of month than I have in like the past couple years or something. And it's like I've made lots of great connections. I've gotten loads of really interesting messages and like got loads of good ideas for projects coming up. And like it's just really been quite transformative. But I had to get over this thing of like, oh, I'm a serious musician. I shouldn't
Hmm.
take this stuff seriously. It's like,
Yeah.
but I like it and I'm good. I think I'm good at it. So
Yeah.
why wouldn't I?
Yeah. And if it's another string to the bow, and if it has the opportunity or potential to further your career, there's no shame in doing it. There's no.
Yeah. I mean, but that's because it's got a point, and I
Yeah.
think it's just doing it to get big and get followers and all that stuff. That's when it's like crass and weird and
Yeah.
vapid. But it's like actually even to entertain people, and it's just like there's when you do it from the right place. I actually think
Hmm.
it's and yeah, it's 2025, man. We need to use the tools that are available and participate in the world that we live in.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, as to an extent, I'm not putting a Timberland and like signing an AI artist, but yeah, trying to participate.
Hmm. Well, my thoughts on, especially on the YouTube thing, because I gave that I gave that two good cracks. I think
Hmm.
one around 2011, 2012,
Hmm.
and then I just got like crazy busy and stuff. And then I did it again. I tried again during lockdown,
Hmm.
and I've got a friend who does it, and his channel really took off. He's peaked over 100,000
Nice.
subscribers. He does about 3 or 4 videos a week. He does like gear demos. He does lessons. And when I ask him about his schedule, I'm like, that is something I would not want to fucking do. He's like, I've
Yeah.
got like 4 videos to do it. I've got 3 pedals I have to review. I have to do the video. I've got to film it. I've got to edit it.
Edit
And
it.
I'm like, the fucking editing alone, hours. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
no,
Uh,
it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
yeah. Unless you're like putting in crazy
Yeah.
numbers.
But even if you're one of those big guitar channels or big music channels, I feel like you're then tied to it.
Hmm.
If it's then your main source of income, or it takes over as your main source of income, you're now tied to it.
Yeah, and you can't reduce your output really. It's like
Yeah.
if you're doing a video, at least a video a week,
Yeah.
you can't go any lower than that.
Yeah.
Kind of have to keep it up there.
Yeah.
What was I watching the other day? I was watching Anderson's, um, and just the amount of stuff they put out, it's like
Mm.
crazy. And I was just like, I sometimes look at the captain, I'm just like, bruv, you look tired, man. I'm like, I mean, obviously it's not just him, there's other people who
Yeah.
do reviews, etc. But it's like that, I guess, has yeah become such a huge part of their business. And it's
Mm.
like, but yeah, you become kind of almost,
A
yeah,
slave to it.
yeah, exactly,
It's
exactly.
yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword. I mean, I think it's about striking a balance with everything. You got to find a way to use it in a way that I don't know, it keeps you creative. Maybe it furthers your career. Maybe you build contacts. Maybe you even get some little endorsement deals.
Hmm.
But if it were me, I would still want to be gigging. I'd still want to be playing. I'd still want to be doing all that stuff. So it would still have to be a project.
Yeah, it has to be sort of music first. And I
Yeah.
think again, this comes back to what do you want? It's like, do you want to be a musician who does YouTube, or
Yeah.
do you want to be a music YouTuber? Because
Yeah.
those are different things.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm also like I'm a musician who makes content. I'm not a music content creator.
Yeah.
Like that's a whole different kind of channel. That's a whole different kind of thing. Um, and it's like I do gigs, I write songs,
Mm.
I'm in the studio, I'm on stages,
Yeah.
and everything else that I make is sort of supplementary to that, you know. But yeah, that's kind of my approach, and you know, there's different ways of there's many different ways of doing this.
Yeah. It's cool, but no, I enjoyed your content. I thought it was really engaging, and it comes from a place of I felt like it came from a place of truth and honesty, and you weren't there to try and sell someone a course and scam them.
99.99.
Yeah.
Actually, funny you should say. That said, I am wearing my own merch, which is
All
quite
right.
funny. It's a sample of like something I'm planning.
Okay. Yeah.
But
Okay.
but even the merch like that I just dropped, it's like a portion of the proceeds are going to Music Supports UK and Help Musicians, to the two sort of major musician mental health and addiction
Yeah.
help charities basically. I
Okay.
mean, Help Musicians also does like they help with homelessness and joblessness and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But for musicians and touring people, you know, could be crew, could be drivers, you know,
Cool. That's
and
really cool.
even Music Supports UK, they also have a helpline for the families of
Mm.
those affected by severe mental health or just mental health issues and drug and alcohol addiction. So, you know, it's all pointed in the same direction.
Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah.
cool. That's very very noble.
Nah, well, you know, and you know, got to make some money as well.
Yeah. People forget that.
Yeah.
So, how did you get the Gorillas gig? How did that come about?
Um, so we're going back to 2012. So just before that, I had a record deal
Mm.
around like yeah, got signed in like 2010, 2011, something like that. Doing solo stuff, but I didn't really know what I was doing and sort of quite aimless. So eventually that kind of didn't really work out. It got dropped. Um, and just at the end of that, but actually during the process of that, I met this guy called Stephen Budd who uh, knows Damon and also helps organize this thing called Africa Express, which
Hmm.
is a project that Damon Albarn does where he gets African musicians and musicians from other places, Western musicians, and puts them all together to make records and just do projects and do gigs. So I, through meeting this guy, got invited onto the 2012 Olympic year Africa Express. It's called Africa Express. It had never been on a train, but this year it was on a train. It was like 85 musicians or something on this chartered train going around the UK playing gigs. And I don't know, I just got onto this train. I'd been playing for like 3 months or something straight, like touring for weeks, and I just
Yeah.
couldn't sing. And with this Africa Express project, you can offer your own songs. Like there's no hierarchy. It's like if you've got
Mm.
a tune, it's like, oh, I've got this song, and I want a Congolese percussion section. I'd
Yeah.
love Damon to play piano on it, and like Joan as a policewoman to play string violin, you know, that'd be great. And you ask the organizers, and they try to find a time where you guys can all jam it
Yeah.
and see if it works. But I just couldn't sing, and I was also feeling very low, like in self-confidence. I didn't. It just, you know, it had been shattered basically. But I was like, I'm just gonna play with everybody and in any context as I can because like
Yeah.
there were some heavyweights. Like
Yeah.
it was people from like Damon Albarn, God rest in peace, Tony Allen,
Right.
John Paul Jones,
Wow.
bloody Zeppelin. Like it was crazy, people like that. But from that to like people like me who are young upstarts, the Temper Trap were on there, Rizzle Kicks were on there,
Yeah.
Eliza Doolittle, and like Slaves, well, they were called Slaves, now they're called Soft Play, all everything in between. So but so I got into the train. There was a jam cart. I picked up a guitar. I started just playing. Paulie, good friend Paulie, the PSM, great drummer. He jumped on the kit. Damon jumped on like the keys or something, and we started jamming. And we looked at each other like this is pretty cool.
We'll do this.
We immediately understood the vibe
Yeah.
of each other, you know. And so I just played a whole bunch on that Africa Express. Last night of that, I ended up playing with Damon and Sir Paul McCartney, which is pretty wild. And then he was just like, I'm playing. He invited me to go up to Mali to make a record with Africa Express the following year. So that's 2013 or the end of 2012 or 2013. And then he was doing a solo album,
Mm.
his first solo album called Everyday Robots, and he invited me to join that band. And in the process of doing that tour, because it was a solo project, he could play songs from all of his projects. So we did Gorilla songs, Blur songs, Good, the Bad, the Queen songs, Rocket Juice to the Moon songs, just a bunch of his solo stuff. Um, and he was, yeah, we got on really well, played some amazing shows for like a year or two, and then he was like, "I'm doing another Gorillaz record. Do you want to join that band?" And yeah, I haven't looked back.
Nice. That's cool. I mean, it's crazy how things just snowball from one gig to the next. It's kind of how we
Yeah,
progress.
it can do that, but also it's like thought, well, one door shut, like my record deal. I was, in
Yeah.
my 20s. I thought that was the aim, and like it didn't
Mm.
work out. And I was like, pretty. It took actually. It's one of the things that led me down. Started the snowball of addiction really to like that sort of self-esteem that was broken.
Yeah.
It that freed me up to be able to do other things, and obviously take on these opportunities and run with them. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's you never know what's around the corner in this. Like, that's why you kind of have to smash it no matter what you're doing.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I
Like,
think that should be the message for everybody. It's just turn up to every gig, make sure you're on time, learn the songs, and don't be an asshole.
yeah, like
There's a music degree there.
it's foundational. But I think even though it's like sort of obvious, until you know it internally. These
Mm.
are things that can just be intellectual, but it's like, no, 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 no. If you do those things seriously and consistently,
Mm.
like we all know, like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I am not, people get on me and I can play all right. Like
Yeah.
I play pretty good, but it's like I know way, way, way better players,
Yeah.
but it's like the whole package that I bring is pretty unique. Um and pretty great. So yeah, like
Yeah.
be a great player, but you also need to have all those other things
Yeah.
down.
Again, for me, it's all about just nailing the basics.
Hmm.
When people, particularly students, and they ask about stuff, another student ask about like, can I start shredding? I was like, it was gonna come up. I was like, look, listen, like you can start. We can look at some stuff, but like you need to be able to tune your guitar.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be able to play a G chord in time with yourself. No click, no metronome, no drum kit. Can you keep a steady time?
Mm.
Like, I'm not talking like perfect, but can you make me tap my foot? Can you make me
Yeah,
bob my head? Can you do that? That's
yeah,
because that's the important shit, because that's what guitar players do 90% of the time. Just sitting back, rhythm stuff, grooving, sitting in a pocket. Like, we need to nail that.
yeah. Like you said, they're foundational. They're building blocks. It's
Yeah.
like you. I mean, you do not get asked to. You rarely get asked to really like let them have it. And even
Go.
when you do, and
Yeah.
even when they do, most people don't want to hear everything that you possibly could ever do. It's
Yeah.
like it's a lot. So like I love players like you like Pino Palladino, who it's kind of always. I think my mate Matt Ingram said this. It's like he's always simmering at like 40%.
Yeah.
Like you never see him sweating. You
Yeah.
never see him really. The vein never comes
Yeah.
out. But then every now and then in a song or like during a set, he'll spike up to like 70 and just like give you some face melting, beautiful,
Mm.
melodic, but also kind of where that come from.
Yeah.
And then he goes back to 40%. And it's just like that's why that stood out, because the rest of the time he was
Yeah. Yeah.
bobbing along
Yeah. Yeah.
steady, tasteful, space, and then you earn the right to like give a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the kind of school of playing that I like. I like guys who can hold it down
Mm.
and then give you something that makes you smile, but
Mm.
it's not like, oh, look at how impressive I am, because
Yeah.
like those guitarists just sort of suck. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, there's styles of guitar like like you mentioned Vai and Satriani,
Yeah.
Ingwe,
Yeah.
those guys, but they're like aliens.
Yeah.
Those are you know even Guthrie, like those guys don't. their simplest stuff is mental,
Yeah.
and it's not meant to be consumed like regular music. So it's like I'm never gonna hire Steve Vai just to do rhythm.
Yeah.
In fact, even just his tone does not his
Yeah.
rhythm. It's not for that.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, do you think there's like when you look at people like that, like you mentioned Guthrie, and I think he's even on a different level to the Vi and Satriani. Do you think there's anything worth taking and learning from people like that, people who are just on a different level, or do you
Uh
think that
huh.
it's yeah, okay, what?
100%. Because fact is fact. They've clearly studied beyond what any of us have. So they'll have a high level of sort of expertise. If anything, actually, there's one thing I think Steve Vai on his last his record last year, he brought out that crazy guitar called like the Hydra,
Right.
which is like this like five-necked
Oh,
beast. It's like
yes, yeah,
it's
yeah.
got like a bloody sitar on it. It's
Yeah,
got like a bass on it. It's
yeah,
like
yeah,
it's pretty horrendous. But he plays this whole song and it's just him playing this thing with
yeah.
like I think back with the drums and stuff like that. But all the like melody and all the backing, etc. It's all him. And I'm just like he didn't just turn it on and just start jamming that.
Mm,
Someone who's already a master, he clearly spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, not just writing the piece and then learning how to perform it, but to make it also seem effortless.
mm,
That's one of the things that I appreciate, and that's not necessarily something I do all the time, but it's like the best guys still practice,
yeah,
which I think is worth knowing. Guthrie speaks quite openly about actually how obviously when he's doing stuff in his trio, that's the more like outrageous,
yeah.
fuck everything at the wall kind of stuff. He's actually a big champion for like taste and like restraint
Mhm.
and finding your own voice and not just doing things like that other people do. Yeah, I think he's built on the foundations set by people like Vi and Satriani.
Yeah.
And he can do from jazz to blues. He can do anything.
Sick.
It's kind of crazy.
I actually had him as a tutor when I was at college.
Wow.
He was just fucking he did it was one of the first lessons, and he did a whole 2-hour lesson on tone, how to get a good tone, because he's like, "It just I fucking hate it when I'm coming here, so at the end of term assessments, someone plugs in their guitar into a Fender, and they can't get a fucking tone out of it." He's obviously quite restrained, he doesn't swear. But he
Yeah.
was like, "Right, this is how you get a good tone. If you want," and he would like neck pickup. It's like jazz, and he just did this fucking nuts jazz line, threw it to the bridge, and bridge is country, and then he just did this Albert Lee fucking monster thing. We were all just like, "What the fucking hell?" And he's like overdrive. And then he did like the Satch mystical potato groove head lick, and like just one hand, and it's like, my God,
Yeah.
like we're
Yeah.
only
That
we're only 45 minutes into a 10-week course. And but he was also really humble as well. He would sit there and just like take you through the blues. He'd be like, just, BB King said everything with 4 or 5 notes. You don't need to really
yeah.
stress too much that if you can't do all the 8 finger fucking tapping stuff, you can still make music. That's the goal is making music.
Yes, I think that's one of the things I think that is resounding from him, whether you like his music or not. Was it the Aristocats?
Yeah.
That's his band. I think I love the way he teaches. He's a great teacher, and he clearly loves what music can do. Yeah, no, I really like guys like that.
Yeah.
Like anybody who's like a turbo geek at anything,
Yeah.
like I really love. This is so random, but I've really gotten into this this YouTube channel called the Hoof GP, and he's a
Right.
cow hoof like trimmer, right?
Hey.
And it's the most it's a circle of YouTube that I didn't even know existed.
Yeah. Yeah.
But this dude is like so deep into this life, this Scottish like hoof trimmer man, and he's got all the
Right.
gear, and
Yeah.
he's so into it, and it's like, I just watch it at night because it's just so fascinating. I've
It's
got
so
no
infectious, isn't it?
yeah, and
There's a,
honest passion is like
yeah. There's a guy on YouTube, Instagram, and he is obsessed with trains to the point that he's like having orgasms when trains go past, and he films himself, and he has this little head camera,
oh
and
yeah,
he
Francis I think his name is yeah
bourgeois or something, and
yeah
it's just his passion for trains is infectious. And like he gets so excited, it's like, oh, it's the Belmont 57's just coming through, and he's like fucking cheering. It's like, man, it's like
Yeah,
everybody needs a bit of that.
everybody
Everybody
does.
needs a little bit of that, and find something that you're really passionate about and just go deep.
Yeah, passionate, not perfect at,
Yeah,
amazing necessarily at. I think a lot of musicians, especially young, like people starting out, again, we're talking about doing small things well over time. It's like they expect to be able to do amazing things immediately, and it's just like actually the process of just getting better a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, is actually it is also in itself a goal.
yeah,
Like I didn't think I've been doing this almost 20 years, and I'm doing a coaching course. It's just like I was almost embarrassed to even tell people that, but I'm just like, actually no, there's things I don't know. There's more than doing playing music these days. There's more than just being good at an instrument. It's like all, learning how to, you know, do a business, learning the best ways of getting people, say, off these apps and into like a mailing list, and
yeah,
doing like a Patreon, and all these interesting strategies that you can do to not just try and get millions of streams because that doesn't pay. It's
yeah,
like, how do we pivot, and how do we, there's that theory. I remember the name of the guy who wrote the article. I think it was like in 2006. Maybe it was just an essay, but talking about how, you know, if you can get like 1,000 people to invest 100 quid in you a year, that's 100 grand.
yeah,
It's like that's a living. How do you get 1,000 true fans? And that's kind of what this Secret Sessions is based on: building true fans
yeah,
in a tangible way. And everybody can do that, but it has to be from your own personal passion. You can't. I think a lot of the fatigue that a lot of musicians have, in particular with social media stuff, is that they're trying to fit what they do into what someone else has done and has
yeah,
worked for somebody else.
yeah,
It's like actually we're in a position, we're in a time when actually you can kind of tailor your experience and tailor the way that you express yourself way, way more than ever. You can choose when you release your music, you can
hmm
choose how you release your music, you can choose how you present it.
hmm
Um, Obviously, it does mean it's a massive investment personally, because you're having to now do all this other shit that I didn't want to learn when I was a kid.
yeah, yeah.
But it's part of it now, and actually getting better at it I think is quite interesting, quite fun.
I think so too. I really do. So you mentioned practice, so let's pivot into that. So what's practice look like today?
Well, yeah, I'm currently in Gorillas land again,
Yeah,
so I've got a whole bunch of stuff to learn. But yeah, we've got some shows coming up at the end of August, beginning of September. And it's funny, like practice to me tends to just be, well, I listen to the songs. I tend to like when I'm not with my instrument. This is practicing to learn a new song, for example. And I find that if I can hum the part,
hmm
it's likely that I can play it.
yeah,
So, and actually, it's likely that you know it. If you can't hum the song through basically with no mistakes, like you need to maybe give it a few more listens, and then I'll pick up the instrument and then I'll press play and I'll just play along. That's how I tend to do it. I learn by ear and I learn pretty quickly, but that's just from reps and reps and reps and reps and reps of doing that. That's how I like to do it. I don't write anything down. I mean, if I had like a bunch of songs to learn for a gig tomorrow,
yeah,
I'd be writing notes.
yeah,
I'm not trying to just download that. But the way I like to turn up to rehearsals is off book.
yeah,
I hate having to look at a notebook or an iPad.
yeah,
It just gets in the way of me expressing myself and sort of being in the room. I like looking at the drummer. I
hmm
like, yeah, and obviously I kind of have that luxury. I think with, say, keys players, they might have a slightly different thing where they might need music a
yeah,
bit more. But yeah, me no. And also I have a practice and rehearsals are two different things. Like
yeah,
practice is for me to learn and be shit and like get to a certain point and then bring that 80% to the rehearsals where you can do your work. Because I also feel like it just slows rehearsal down if you like we're going to play this song. Oh, one set, and then
How
it's
does the
just sort
bridge
of like,
go?
yeah, like oh, let's have another listen. Like it's fair enough, having a refresher listen, like that's cool, but it's like keeping having to rewind it, or like what key are we in, or all of that stuff. It's like
Yeah.
that's your responsibility to kind of get
You need to get that shit down.
the majority of it down. I'm no one's perfect, but it's like time is money,
Yes.
and also just like having sheets of paper. For example, if you're going to read, say, off an iPad, bring a stand thing that clips to your mic stand.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to bring just sheets of paper, don't have them on the floor, so like you can't really see them.
Yeah.
Organize a stand, and um but I think my advice to anyone is like, as much as possible, learn the music without reading it, and don't turn up to rehearsal with a whole bunch of sheets of paper. Like, it's not a good look. And also, you just then start learning to play the music with other people while looking at a piece of paper, and it's
Mm.
like it just takes you a lot longer to get off it.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you do all of your sort of learning by ear. How did you learn music? Did you go to school? Did you go to college? Private lessons?
I didn't go to uni for anything, and I didn't have any guitar lessons, but I learned flute was my first instrument.
Okay.
And so that was like year 6 to year 10 or 11, I think.
Okay.
And like, yeah, we have concert band, Bromley Youth Orchestra,
Yeah.
all that stuff. And I was, in school choir, but my main musical education, I'd say, was just at home, because I'm the youngest of six. There was quite a lot of us, and Christian family, going to church, and my dad played a few chords on guitar, and he had the song books from church. So like every night we'd read the Bible and sing songs as a family. So we had the song books, pick like 3 or 4 songs. Dad would get the music book out and with the chords in there, and we'd all start singing. But everyone would break off into harmony, and all this stuff. So I was just learning all of that stuff by osmosis,
Yeah.
from before I could speak. And then sometimes my mum would arrange stuff for us to perform at church. So yeah, I was kind of steeped in it. And then when I was like 14, I picked up the guitar. I started I was in a little skate punk band,
Yeah.
and just started writing songs. And so I was just really going into that. And then like around 17, 18, that's when John Mayer turned up and got into
Hmm.
that. Started writing songs alone.
Yeah.
I moved away. I moved country for sixth form. So I didn't have my band anymore. I didn't have any friends. So I was just like, okay, I had my guitar though. So I started writing, the songs just for me to perform myself, which that's where that sort of went. Um, Yeah, I didn't really necessarily think I'd end up doing this as a proper job, but that's how music sort of came into my life. I kind of was just always around it, and always kind of doing it.
Yeah. Is guitar, what would you say your first instrument is?
Well, it was guitar, and I still write mostly on guitar,
Yeah.
but I think I express myself better on bass.
Okay.
And I'm employed now mostly for bass. Like my first gig was on bass, like first like proper gig. But then the next sort of thing I got was Paloma Faith, and that was on electric guitar.
Okay.
But there's like pre-record deal, and then through her first album campaign, which was it's quite a guitar-y gig,
Yeah.
but I haven't really done loads and loads of guitars since like 2010 or something like that.
All right. Okay.
So in terms of like session stuff,
Yeah.
it's been mostly bass since working with Damon. It's been mostly bass.
Okay. All right. And what's your take on getting better these days?
Well, I think getting better is not necessarily just about, say, speed, or chops, or anything like that, because getting better can actually be, like we're talking about Guthrie and stuff like that. It's like getting better can actually be the maturity to know that, oh, I can play less.
Mm.
I should leave more space. I should be listening to, yeah, what's the tone of the other instruments? Should I adapt my tone to sit better
Yeah.
in the context of what I'm playing, as opposed to doing absolutely everything I can at like 100% all the time,
Yeah.
trying to stand out. I think getting better is being more in tune with yourself, and being in more sort of alignment with who you are inside, which I think a lot of stress comes in life in general from like presenting one thing while actually being another thing inside, or saying things that you don't mean, agreeing with things that you don't actually agree with. And it's like, the better you get, I think, as a musician, the shorter the distance is between like what you're thinking, how you're feeling, and what you're actually putting out. And that's everything from like choosing gigs that you actually want to do, playing with people that you actually like. And if you can't do that, 'cause that is the case, sometimes you're on a gig with people that you don't like. It's like still making it work and still doing your best job, even in that situation. Yeah, learning restraints, learning to take time, learning to be patient. I think getting better is a lot quieter. Getting
Mm.
better is a lot less flashy than what you think.
Yeah.
Becoming a master at anything when you're a kid is like, the person who can, jump the highest, run the fastest,
Yeah.
do the secret death technique,
Yeah.
but actually, whereas actually masters are quiet,
Yeah.
the better. And then, but also has all this capability within them, that they can draw upon when need be. But you don't need to prove yourself all the time. You don't need
Mm.
to be shouting from the rooftops that, oh, I can shred all the time.
Yeah.
I think as a musician, that's where and I'm getting there, accepting your limitations, accepting your abilities, and I'm not saying that as like, knowing how bad you are, but I'm saying knowing how good you are,
Mm.
but not having to show it all the time.
Yeah.
That's where you feel that's when you're in control. That's where you can like Albert Lee, where you can just like play three of the best notes because you chose them. They came from a real place, and letting them hang and letting them do what you actually chose them to do. Yeah, I think that's getting better to me.
Yeah. I mean, the phrase "the emptiest vessel makes the most noise" sprang to mind. It's that quiet calmness in proficiency,
Yeah.
which
It's like I saw Nick name drop. I'm friends with Nick Zinner from Yeah Yeah Yeahs.
okay.
And he's been playing with Iggy Pop. And so they played at Royal no, Yeah Yeah Yeahs played at Royal Albert Hall the other day. Iggy Pop played at Alexandra Palace like a couple weeks
Okay.
ago. Um and I mean that was just energy, like you've still like he's just putting out the most amazing energy. This is Iggy Pop, I mean.
Yeah.
But I've heard that backstage before the show, he's quiet and muted and calm, you know. But when it's time to actually to turn up, that's when he throws
Turns
the
it on.
energy at.
Yeah.
It's like how can you do that at that age? It's like, well, because he's not being a fucking animal all day
Yeah.
like you are when you're in your 20s, where you think you just have to like be full on all the time. It's just
Hmm.
like, no, he focuses like a laser.
Mm.
And he just absolutely murders the stage and like absolutely killed it. That was a really fucking great show. Just then quietly goes off. Well, I say quietly, he was put into a coffin on stage and they wheeled him off, which is really funny.
Yeah.
That's what I think. Yeah, just by being because you take your time and because you're focused, that doesn't mean that you're boring. That doesn't
Mm.
mean that you're not explosive or dynamic. It just means, in fact, if anything, it means you're more dynamic. It means
Mm.
you're choosing how to use what you've got, as opposed to being erratic, just like effervescing and like bubbling over.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get a chance to see Iggy Pop. I think he played Reading Festival when I was there years ago, and I didn't see him.
Nice,
Yeah. I mean, you always think that these people are going to be around forever,
right?
and yeah, they're not.
Yeah, what was it? It was like Brian. We lost, yeah, with Sly Stone,
Yeah.
and then
Brian
I
Wilson.
forget, and then Brian Wilson, like
Yeah.
within days of each other. It's just
Yeah.
like, mate, this is every time I see a picture of any any like musician in this, and it's even remotely black and white, I'm just like, my heart skips a beat. 'Cause I'm thinking
Yeah.
like somebody posted a post something about Stevie Wonder the other day, and the photo was black and white. I was like, oh God, no! But it
Yeah.
was just like a normal post. I'm like, oh no, don't
Yeah.
play with my heart. Um,
So what have you got going on for the rest of the year? I know you said you've got some Gorillaz gigs coming up, but or more about your like recording, releasing own material.
yeah, I mean, yes. Well, also speaking of Africa Express, we made a new record in Mexico last year, and just started rolling out new songs from that project, which is cool. Go, so we're playing some shows in Europe for that actually coming up, and then go directly into Gorillaz rehearsals, and then we've got those shows, and then in sort of September October time. September, I'm looking to finish an EP. I released a couple songs from it already this year, but this it's just gotten so busy that I'm having to put the brakes on that for a while. But I'm going to try and get like the next 3 songs finished, and then October I think start releasing stuff again. And I want to do like this a small intimate like living room tour.
Yeah,
I just want to go around to people's gaffs, get 10 of your mates around, and play for 45 minutes, chat for 45 minutes,
yeah,
like just chill, chat, answer questions, just get involved, like hang out with people. Because touring is expensive. My solo music isn't at like a super high level, but what I've really enjoyed is connecting with people. And it actually doesn't matter if you're in a huge. I like playing gigs. We spend our time playing in venues and theaters and all that stuff. It's
yeah,
like, actually, do I want to go play my own gigs in these spaces that I play all the time anyways?
yeah,
It's like, or maybe I can make an interesting moment in slightly different venues and maybe, and just, it's just to try and build a fan base, just building it organically,
yeah.
as well as online, finding a way to go and meet people in real life. Um, yeah, doing that, just launch some merch as well, gonna get some new merch going on. And yeah, I think I might try starting a pod as well. I've got an
Hmm.
idea for something. So watch this space. I might be starting work on that this month, actually.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah, I'm not gonna give away the
Yeah, don't
idea
no.
just yet.
Yeah,
It's still formulating, it's still
yeah,
crystallizing, but I think it'd be quite cool. If like you're saying, sort of just good conversations and with interesting people, everybody from players and people that we know to even just but I want to also hear from like truck drivers and
mm,
caterers and people who work at like music charities and like how do you get through this? How do
yeah,
you work on this? Because again, like the fraternity of musicians is way it's so broad. It's not just the people on stage. It's like there's
yeah,
so many other people involved, and actually so many other people that get hurt and are victims of kind of the madness of it, but
mm.
also are the geniuses and these people who should be celebrated, and you don't ever really hear from them. So I'm going to try and do something like that.
That sounds really cool. Keep me posted on that.
100%,
I always like listen. Like I don't know about you, but when I've done a gig and I've got a 2 hour drive home, the last thing I want to do is listen to music.
mate.
It's like
No
it's
way.
just I'll have silence or I'll put a podcast on that's not related to music. Something, yeah.
Yeah,
It's so yeah, yeah.
that.
Let me know. And do you find that when you're doing gigs, tours, you're doing all the sessions, you just have zero time to do anything musically for yourself?
Yeah, I mean that's actually one reason. One thing that sort of content can actually help it helps with doing that when I'm doing other things helps me still pour something into my
Yeah, yeah,
solo thing, whether it be, writing, it's not right necessarily writing a song or something like that, but it's still doing something creative. You're still sort of putting some attention onto what you do. And actually, if you work it right, everything you do points to what you do.
yeah,
You can kind of use the shine of any projects that you're doing to sort of bolster yours. So that's actually something I'm trying to get the balance of with the time coming up that I'm going to be busy. Is like, how do I do some session work without having to completely shut off my personal
yeah,
stuff? And then on the flip side, how do I don't want to just quit doing any other jobs and just focus on my solo thing,
yeah,
which doesn't make me any money.
yeah,
It actually, yeah, just takes my money. So it's
yeah.
like integrating it all into your life
Mm,
is the current challenge. But I think I'm going to try and have it all feed into each other
yeah,
in some way. But no, it is hard though. They're different hats.
absolutely.
When you're working with on a project, you want to be fully in it and
Yeah,
like respectful,
yeah,
concentrate.
yeah. I agree.
Yeah,
No, I had this little studio. I opened it up in April, and I've
looks
got
nice from the little
I've
corner I can see.
I'll show give you a little tour. So I've got like a kit over here, all my
Ooh,
guitars.
mate, proper,
On the other side is got some keyboards. I do some
mate.
less. I teach in here. There's all my wife's clothes over there,
Oh,
and
so
so
this is at the gaff,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
mate.
Bottom of the garden. It's like I couldn't be happier with it. But like I had one guy in to do a little session, a little drum session. Just I was like, I want to get some recording done. I want to feel out the room. So we just record some covers and that's it. I've tracked the drums and I've had no time to do anything else. And that was like the end of May, start of
Mate,
May. And I purposely shifted all my teaching So that I teach Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Thursday is my day. And then
Personal stuff.
Friday I'll do like stuff in the morning. Then usually I've got a show in the evening.
Mhm.
Like I take on a show and it's like, right, fuck. So I've got to spend 3 weeks going through the pad. I've got to go through the dots, the charts,
Yeah,
when do I get to do my stuff?
mate, I feel like that's just I think that's the thing. It's all your stuff. I think that's the point of view that is crystallizing for me at the minute. It's like it's all your stuff. It's
Yeah.
like this is all you. I think maybe sometimes we compartmentalize. Actually, something a therapist recently said to me, it was like, so I was kind of woe is me about, oh, my solo thing isn't, oh, shit. Sorry,
Okay.
just spilled some more. Um, I was like, quite woe is me, like my solo thing isn't doing very much. But then he was like, but then I talk about my session stuff, and he's just like, and I put all this effort into it, and I built this career over years, and da 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 da. And it's just like they're the same person.
Mm.
It's like you can do the things that you do for this, but also there are different things. It's like, but there's no separation. So yeah, I think I totally feel you, bro. But I'm just where I'm trying to get to is like, how do I stop thinking like feeling like I'm cheating on one by
Yeah.
doing effort in the other, as opposed to like how's this is all one thing, and oh no, I spent all the time doing the drums for this, but at least I got the drums done for that. I've got a gig on Friday. Actually, maybe Thursday I need to take off and not fucking do anything because I'm spent.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we also feel like, guilty for not having recorded 3 albums or,
Yeah.
this year. And it's just like, actually, you need most of your time to do the stuff that pays the bills. So that's okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
Hey, for sure.
Yeah. All right, dude. I'll let you go. I'll let you go for the rest of your Sunday and whatever it is you've got going on. I
Well,
hope you
thank
have a
you, man.
lovely day. Thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate it. I say this to everyone. I know everybody's time is as valuable as mine. So I do really, really appreciate it. And I will speak to you very soon.
Mate, no worries, Sim. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you.
Big up.